Woo-hoo-hoo. It is Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and we all know what that means. It's time where we go live with HELPtalk. And you've got me, Dr. LL, co-founder of HELPtalk, with my buddy and co-founder on the other side there, Phil Vitrano, the other co-founder of Helpopedia. And in the middle here, sandwiched with it's the Helpopedia sandwich, we've got Jim Tomaszewski, who is the executive director of Iguana. And do you notice how quickly I streamed over your name? Like I've been saying it for 50 years, right?
And you say it real quick, and then people go, "What did she say?" Oh, it's too late now. We're already moved on.
Right. It sounds good. People are like, "Oh, okay." They just buy it, right? If you stumble and pause, you draw attention.
Then they know.
You got to go with it.
Yeah.
So, Jim is the executive director of Iguana, and he has spent really his career and his whole lifetime's body of work is all about identifying the dangers out there for children, helping parents navigate those dangers, and creating practices to be able to teach kids about safety in a really fun and engaging way. So without going further, Jim, set the context for us. Why do we even need to have this conversation? What's going on in the world where kids are still like, oh, safe? Because doesn't every parent drop the kid right off at the school, pick them up at the front door and bring them home?
Yeah, they do. But there's so much time in between them dropping them off at the front door and picking them up at the end of it. And there's so many people interacting with their lives every day. I mean, the lunch lady, the janitor, the person just passing through, the mom in the school, or wherever it may be. But yeah, I mean, you gotta, in our society right now, we really have struggled with trying to teach children at a certain age. Everybody has that argument of, when do I teach this? Well, little Iguana, we always say, right away, as soon as they can start absorbing information, start talking to them about this, because just because they can't communicate back to you doesn't mean that they, that they can't absorb it. So start right away.
All right. And so one of the things that we wanted to get into, as we do as a format for each HELPtalk every week, is we have 7 steps or 7 ways or 7 techniques, 7 tips, 7 something. And I know you've got 7 tips to talk about kiddo safety. So maybe you want to bang out those 7 and then we can go through and break them down?
Sure. Well, yeah, if you'd like to, or we could go one at a time. It's up to you.
Your choice. Your choice.
You guys, you know what I mean? You got me. So you drew the short straw. You're stuck with me for the next 30 minutes or so. So let's start it off. 7 steps to be safe about stranger danger. And I know people get upset when we say stranger danger because some people are like, oh, they're not always strangers that, we understand that they're not always strangers that get involved with children or may hurt them. What we're trying to do is, when 8 billion people use the word stranger danger, we just try to explain what that word really means in our content. So the first one is, you got to actually define what a stranger is clearly to the kids, okay? Because words are nothing. I mean, you could say, stranger, what does that mean to a kid? They have no idea. It could be your next door neighbor, the ice cream man, the mailman, the newspaper boy, whatever. There's so many people that interact in your world at any given time that, how do I know who a stranger is? Because it's really hard for a kid, actually. It's really hard for me, too, and I'm 62 years old. So what we teach kids is this, simply. Before you go anywhere with anybody, even if you know the person, somebody says, hey, come on over to my house, or you're walking down the street and they said, I need your help, or you may know the person, you may not know the person. What you need to understand is you got to get permission before you go anywhere with anybody. It's simple. And we need to instill this in the kids. And the way you do this, you make it simple, stupid, I always say, for me, because everybody that builds, like my staff, if Jim can understand it, a 2-year-old can understand it. And they get it, because, my life is, with ADHD and a bazillion things on my mind every day. I'm lucky I make it home by myself. So what we try to do is we teach about stranger. Who is a stranger? Define it. It doesn't mean that it's a good person. It doesn't mean that it's a bad person. It doesn't mean that they're big and scary and want to hurt you. What it just means is, get permission before you go anywhere with anybody or do anything, and make it part of their lives. Make it part of their routine. Just like putting on your pants in the morning, or saying thank you or please after somebody does something for you. Make it
Oh,
part of
yes.
your life. That's all.
More of that, please. Yes. And thank you. Yes.
Well, I'll tell you about a great day. At the end of this whole thing, you guys are going to rock, because this thing is, we've got an incredible day coming up about that. So, and the second thing that we talk about, we were just talking about, you know, who a stranger is. Is a stranger the next door neighbor? Is a stranger? It's strangers, anybody you don't have permission to go right then and there. Okay. So just remember that. So if I'm walking down the street or I'm going to answer the door, I can't do that. Okay. I have to get permission before I do that. So then we're talking about permission, right? I'm talking about whose permission, you know, get permission. We're talking about this big word, permission. But what is it? So what we try to teach little kids is, it's simple. If you want to go somewhere with somebody or do something with someone, you have to go ask the person in charge, the adult in charge. So let's say I'm at my mom's house, okay? And I go to my mom's house, and I mean my mom's house, my grandmother's house. And I go to my grandmother's house, and somebody asks me to do something or go somewhere. Well, who would I ask at that point in time? I would ask my grandmother, because my grandmother is the person that's in charge of me. And what is permission? Well, permission is going up to your mommy or your daddy or your grandma or whoever, your teacher, and you look them right in the eyeballs. And we use the word eyeballs with little kids because it makes people giggle. When anybody hears eyeballs, we all giggle. So we get them with humor and we get them with fun, you know? So we look them in the eyeballs and then we ask, well, what are we going to ask? May I please go with this person? Or may I go do something? I want to go to the park with my friends. May I please go do that? So the first thing is looking them in the eyeballs, then you ask, and then you wait to get a yes. Okay, so you wait for them to say yes. If they say yes, you now have permission. So what is permission? It's eyeballs, ask, yes. So it's simple. So a 2-year-old can understand it.
Right.
You're walking out there, somebody comes up to you, and because you instilled this in them at a young age, right away in their mind, they go, eyeballs, ask, yes. I'll be right back. And if that person doesn't, you know, oh, come on, you don't have to get permission, don't stay around. So that's getting permission. So are we good so far? Everybody, anybody need to have any clarity on that at all? Well, the next thing that we want to talk about is talk about your kids, your harm alarm. That's one of the programs that Little Iguana talks about as well. Your harm alarm is this. That's that funny feeling inside when something's not right, okay? You don't have to guess. Like a lot of programs say, oh, you don't need to talk about good touch, bad touch, blah, blah, blah. We don't do that because it's so difficult to talk about that. It's so hard to explain what good touch and bad touch means to a lot of people. So what we try to do is your harm alarm. That's your funny feeling inside when something's not right. Let's say somebody wants me to go somewhere with them and I don't know that person, or I may even know that person and they're really pushing me. They really push and they want me to go. I feel funny inside. So what I do is I go ask permission. I go to the person in charge and I say, hey, look, this person wants me to do this, or this person is asking me to come with them or be part of something. And I'm not sure because I feel funny inside. It could even be like your friends asking you, hey, let's go hurt this person, or hey, let's go do this, or let's go, you know, let's be Spider-Man and jump off the roof of the building, which I've seen a bazillion times in my life. Okay.
Or go hurt animals.
Go hurt something. Go hurt, you know, respect everything and everyone around you.
Right.
Okay. That's life. Okay. So this harm alarm goes off inside of you and you need to share that with someone. That's one of the programs like many years ago. This is our 30th anniversary.
Wow, congratulations.
I'm only 62 years old. So that is literally half of my life I've been doing this so far. And
have you figured it out yet, Jim?
You know, I don't know what I want to do when I grow up, but soon I will. I will. I want to be a ballerina. No, you can't. So what we try to do with the harm alarm program is we try to instill it into children so that they understand that funny feeling that goes off. You need to share it. Give you an example what happens. We had a small child, 3 years old, in a child care facility. We were in the school 6 months before talking about helmet, bike use, crossing the street, and harm alarm program. So 6 months goes by, somebody goes in and he's hurting the children. I'm not going to get into the graphic details, but he's hurting the children badly. So here's this little boy whose parents are bringing him to this child care facility for this man to hurt these children. They don't know, but their parents are demanding, get your clothes on, hurry up, let's go, dragging this boy who doesn't want to go. And I understand why he doesn't want to go. I mean, who wants to go and have stuff happen to you? Nobody. So this poor little boy has no safe haven in life. So he goes to this, the person's like, you do this and we're going to kill you or take your mom away from you or hurt you, because monsters like that are desperate. They can't let kids go around talking about what's going on. So this little boy doesn't tell what's happening. He starts regressing, soiling his pants, nightmares, not eating, the subliminal ways of telling, yelling out, help me, help me. They bring him to the doctors. The doctor says it's growing pains. He'll get over it, okay? On his drive home, he goes, Mommy, we have to call Little Iguana because Little Iguana said he would save me. That's a 3-year-old in this program. So it works at such a young age, but he remembered it. And you know why? We teach everything through music. So what did you guys learn in first grade? What did you guys learn in second grade? What did you guys learn in third grade? I'm lucky I learned anything through school. I don't even remember who my teachers were, okay? Let's be real. But you know what? If you played the music that was on the radio during those time frames, the Benny and the Jets and the, whatever it is that, you're out there, you sing the words. You're driving down the road, you haven't heard this song in 50 years, and you're driving and singing the song, and you're like, wow, that's amazing. But I don't know who my teacher was in school, but I can do that. So the next step, the fourth step that we talk about is open communication. You really need to be able to talk to your children, and not like babies, and not like, you don't really care and you're just asking how things are going. What you need to do is you need to set up times, like in a car ride, as you're driving somewhere. I mean, what's it gonna kill you to say, hey, so how was your day today? Did you learn anything cool? What was your favorite part of the day? So that these simple open communications can help when the big ones come along. Okay, I could talk to mom and dad, and they're cool about stuff, and little Phil pulled my hair today, and
Phil's always the prankster.
He was
the bad kid in Catholic
the tacks on the sheet, on the chairs, everything. The kid is awful, but yeah, you could share this with your mom, hey, so-and-so was mean to me, or because then it allows you to open up communications with your children, and they feel comfortable explaining to you the little things, because you got to start with the little things. You're not going to wake up one day and say, oh, Ma, some guy tried to, abduct me today. And that was the only thing they've ever talked about all their lives. Talk about the small things, the easy things. Hey, how is you? I noticed you had trouble with that. Can I help you with that? How you feeling today? What are you going to do today? What's your goals today? Even help them with setting goals so that, the synapses in their brains are always going off, and they're always not being, they have to be used or they go away, right? If you don't use your, whatever, they fizzle away. We have geniuses when they're born. We just make them, not so smart. Okay. So here we are, when we're sending them out, always have the communication time available to them. Ask them what they feel, like, hey, you want to ask mom something or dad something? And don't be afraid. I mean, you don't have to go into crazy details or anything, but be honest with them and talk. When they say, how's your day, Mom? Well, you know what? Honestly, I had a great day. This is happening. But, I really could use some help with whatever it is. And you'd be surprised what the kids would want to help you with. You don't demand it from them. You talk about it openly. Talk with them and, talk about real life scenarios and role playing and activities with your kids so that, they know what to do. People always say, oh, I tell my kids 1,000,000 times, look both ways before they cross the street. Well, what does that really mean? You know, I could talk to my kids a million times. They don't listen to me. But if I show them what I was talking about and I physically show them, you know, and I embed a music and embed a song with it, you never forget it. You'll always remember. You know, how many of us are my age out there, right? And then if
we're younger, Jim.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right. Okay, so a little bit younger. But then I start.
Hey, who said a little bit?
Well, I'm trying to, you know, make myself feel better, okay, lady? It's not all about you on the far side of the screen. There's a guy in the middle here, okay? There's a guy right here in the middle, you know? So what we're trying to do is, you know, you just need to have that open dialogue, okay? Always make it simple for everybody, you know? Role play, guided practices. If something like this ever happens to you, you know, this is what you should do. How many of us have ever said to our kids, hey, if somebody ever comes up to you, this is what you should try, you know, to help you. If somebody wants you and you're not with me, or we're at the mall and somebody's trying to play, hey, let's go play hide and seek with mom. You know, I've heard this about 10,000 times in my life. And then the kid goes to play hide and seek with them and we don't see the kid ever again because it wasn't going to play hide and seek. But, you know, use real scenarios. Don't scare them. Don't, you know, just have dialogue and then embed that music, because if you give them that music, I'm telling you, they'll love you for it. You know, it's again, how many people are about my age? If I start singing conjunction, junction, what's your function? Everybody goes, hey, it's a noun, it's a verb. Correct? I'm just the Bill sitting on Capitol Hill. It took 20 years for some lady to teach me this. I didn't even understand it till I'm watching a cartoon one morning and pop up goes this. And I'm like, wow, that's what they were trying to teach me for the last umpteen million years. I get it now. Because a lot of us that don't learn, like 70% of the world doesn't learn by here's a book. On Tuesday, we're going to have a test. We don't learn that way. You show me how to build something, I'll build it. You show me how to open heart surgery, I open heart surgery. Do you ever see a doctor that does open heart surgery that read a good book about it and he's performing on? No,
he's practiced on some people, or she has.
Safety. Yeah. You know, more children die every year from preventable accidental injuries than all diseases combined, right? So why aren't we out there teaching stuff that it's preventable, okay? So, you know what I mean? Like the big word preventable means it doesn't have to happen, okay? So if we just take the time to teach them in a way that they can learn, then we score a big one, and we save their lives, or we help them not get hurt or break their arm. Or, you know, when I was a kid, and I don't want to say it out loud because my kids would like go, I knew you were a rebel, Dad. I mean, I had kids that drove their bikes off of the roof into the foam where people used to do the pole vaulting. And I'm like, and the guy misses it and he's got a bone in his leg. You're like, I don't want to do that. But it took him that to figure out that he didn't want to do that either. You know what I mean? So if we could just show it and walk through it, we have incredible success by using music and helping everything and learn play. I call it play learning. You know, I don't know what some people call it, whatever. We've been calling it play learning since the beginning of time, because if you're playing with them, they learn. Just because you're playing doesn't mean you're not learning. So again, this is why we always put that in music and movement. So our sixth tip that we have is always incorporate music into everything that you do. I don't care if you can't sing. Your kids don't know you can't sing. No matter how bad you sing, they don't know that you can't sing yet. So sing to them. If you want to get your point across, make up some silly, stupid songs like I did way back when to help my children learn how to do this, how to get through this, you know? And again, they'll remember. I'll have my kids' friends come over and go, hey, remember when Mr. T sang us that stupid song, you know? And then they sing that stupid song back to me. But it's amazing because they're 30-something years old now, but they sing that stupid song back to me. And so this is why we always want to use music and educational songs, because little Iguanas realized 30 years ago when we started this, we analyzed every single program. And what did we find out? The number one way to teach anybody anything is through music. Number 2 is to show them how to do it. Last on our list is to give a book to somebody and tell them we're going to have a test. That's the last. And that's the way we teach in society. So we want to move the music to the top instead of, just having a spoken words to everybody. And then, of course, reinforcing the activities. So everything that you were talking about, you use a workbook or a sheet, a coloring sheet, and you have these types of activities or a craft. We do snacks. We do silly things like ants on a log, we're making a snack together and we play in the music and we're listening to the music and we have some peanut butter on a celery with some raisins. And we just think that that's the cutest little thing, is a bunch of little kids giggling as we're listening to the song that we're trying to teach them. And because of the repetition and over again within the song, we usually do about 4 or 5 choruses because it takes that many times for a kid to actually start singing the words with us. Okay. And then once you start singing the words, they remember it forever. We had another success story. I told you guys about the 3-year-old and the 3-year-old that could remember it. So the age is a very young age that children can learn from us. But the remembrance is something that's huge. We had a young lady who was 8 years old, and during our we do live musicals. So we go into school, we put on costume characters, we run around, we sing and dance, and we have actors and we teach the kids and we bring children up on stage to be the mentor. So we say, hey, come on up. Who wants to be the next, person? They come up. This little girl came up to do Run, 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 Yell and Tell. It's a program about what you do if someone's trying to get you to go with them. You don't have permission. You got to run away. You got to yell certain things. You got to go into a safe place, find out. Well, this little girl, she was 8 years old. 16 years old, she's walking down the street in Newburyport, Mass. Level 3 sex offender tries to abduct her. She runs away down the street screaming and yelling, goes into a store behind the counter, yells at the people and says, call the police, call the police. The police show up. They say, hey, what's going on? She said, this person's, well, how did you get away? This person's trying to take me. Well, how'd you get away? She said, that silly, stupid song. Little Iguana taught her 8 years before that, popped into her head, and she ran away and ran into the store yelling and screaming. So because things, when you teach through music and play learning, it's a recall mechanism. It's not like a thought process. It's as soon as something happens, that song pops into your mind.
Reflexive.
And it could be any one of our bazillion topics. We go through 22 topics on our site. We only did everything for 27 years, live musicals in classroom. But as we know, the pandemic just totally destroyed us. I mean, I don't even know how we're even here today. Honest to goodness gracious, it just blows my mind. So what we did was we decided to put everything online so that people can use it from their house. So if anything ever happens, and then homeschoolers started touching base with us, and then church groups started touching base with us, and then these micro schools started touching base with them. People that want to start teaching children at a young age stuff that they don't get anywhere. They don't get anything. I mean, what safety mechanism, what safety programs do we have? We know we're the only ones. We're the only comprehensive program for kids 2 to 8. And the reason why we are that is, what happens if a kid needs to ask a question about any topic? Okay, if they ask a question about any topic, who do they go to? Well, I could go to Little Iguana. If I go to Smokey the Bear, I can only ask forest fire. If I go to Dare the Lion, I can only ask about drugs. If I go to Eddie the Eagle, I can only ask about gun safety. But if I go to Little Iguana, I can ask him anything, any of his friends. There's so many of his friends that do certain things so kids can relate to that one character and really enjoy it and think that they're it. These are the people that, I need to mimic, I need to be part of. And it's just a good wholesomeness. I mean, our world, as I was telling you guys, we have a big, huge announcement. On August 30th, on August 11th, we're celebrating 30 years of doing this. 30 years of getting up at 5 a.m, driving to an event, unloading the equipment, doing a show, driving to another state, unloading the equipment, doing a show, sometimes 3 times in a day, and finishing up at 8 o'clock at night at a first night out or some other activity in another state. And this is our 30th year. So we're so excited to be announcing our worldwide It's Easy to Be Kind worldwide day. And what it is this: treat others the way you want to be treated. Don't take it in a religious tone. Don't take it in if you don't want to. Don't take it if you do want to. Because in this society today, I say, God, half the country hates me. I say, no, God, the other half hates me. Look, I hate myself, people, okay? So I'm good with that. I don't need anybody else hating me, all right? I'm good hating myself right now. So what I try to do is I try to express, if you're on a battlefield and you're wounded, does it matter who saves your life? If the answer is no, me and you can talk. If the answer is yes, well, we got problems because I don't know what to do. You ain't gonna make it. That's one thing. I will tell you one thing: you ain't gonna make it if that's your mentality, right? But if you have a chance to like, we hate each other and we don't even know. We haven't even met some of the. Oh, I hate them. When'd you meet him last? I've never met him. Like, are you out of your mind?
We form opinions, and now you've talked about like a lot of important things here. I do want to come back to this whole notion of not scaring kids. So
yes,
how do you share a message, Jim, that puts the boundaries and says, like, okay, let's turn your little harm alarm on, but
sure,
not freak them all the way out?
Teach them at a young age. Don't wait until all of a sudden one day you surprise it on them. Teach them all their life. You teach them how to eat, right? Are they afraid to eat? Are they afraid to choke on a piece of steak? No, they'll eat it. But you did it all their lives, so start it as young as possible so it's part of their daily routine until at one point in time, and trust me, your children will say this to you, would you knock it off with the Little Iguana song? You're driving me up the wall, Ma, okay? But at that point in time, they're old enough and they've embedded it into their lives. Because remember, your foundation in life is set by age 5, okay? What you are in society is set by age 5. That's why my Baba, my Gigi, my Polish grandparents would always say,
I have Ukrainian Baba.
Yes, Ukraine. That's it. That's it.
Because I figured there was
something Hungarian, Ukrainian, Polish.
I saw some of the syllables in your last name there, and yeah, I was guessing.
Yeah, but they always teach you, just to be kind and respectful to everybody. They knew that you don't hang around with little Bobby at 5 years old, and Bobby's a little pain in the butt, because Bobby at 10 years old, if no one helped him, was going to be a bigger pain in the butt and stronger pain in the butt, and that's where we fail. And in society, do you guys know that the most abused, neglected, and unwanted age group is newborn to 3?
That's so sad.
Newborn to 3. Wake up, folks. So if you think teaching them at 8 years old or 10 years old about this stuff is oh, great, you got to teach them young. But do it through music and fun. Read a book. Read a Little Iguana book to them about these things, and it's done in a fun way. And the next thing you know, hey, I got those 3 messages. Or sing them the song, because the song's not threatening to them.
So since this is all about music and teaching, 2 questions, Jim. Number 1, what is the most popular lesson at Little Iguana? What's the lesson that parents and teachers and police and everybody really drives home to the kiddos? What's the most popular? Is there one?
I think 1, 2, 3 would all be about the stranger awareness, the get permission, who's a stranger, take a buddy with you, the run, yell and tell. They really all are. I mean, they're really just all part of a life that you really need to have, a daily part of your life.
Right. So, now, because it's musically oriented, are you going to share anything with us about what this sounds like as a kiddo or as a parent or teacher, educator, police officer that shares with the kiddos?
Well, I don't have that technology because I'm, as I said, 62 years old, but they are more than welcome to go to our site and actually download, or if you guys miraculously can figure out how to go about it, but they could go right online and go to any of our I do see a button here that says share screen. If we want to try it, we can all,
I'm in for anything. If you've got something handy and queued up, let's try.
Okay, let's give it a whirl. Let's try it. Actually,
I feel like it's like Monty Python. And now for something completely
Yes, it would. I'm going to go on my phone because I don't want to screw this up for everybody. Because I will screw it up for everybody. But here is a song about, we're going to take a buddy with us, okay? So this is a song on YouTube.
If you walk into the store, take a buddy with you.
This is great.
Sometimes that's what friends are for. Don't let your body down. There's safety in more than just one. Not to mention much more fun.
I like the chickens.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the iguana? That's your guy?
That is the puppet version. That was our first version of our we had been blessed. We tried to do, we did Little Iguana Live, and people said, "Oh, you should put on TV." So we went to TV. Nobody wanted to teach young kids safety on television. That wasn't part of the world. So we just happened to meet a gentleman, John Silber, who used to be the Boston University president, chancellor when he was alive. And he helped us, and he made us some TV shows when they had their studio on Soldiers Field Road, which we ended up winning some Emmys and some national and international awards for, beating out all the stations that threw us out of their office and didn't want to do
karma.
So yes, it was. Yes, it was. Now we're looking to do animation. We have PBS that had asked for some 2-minute shorts, and we're looking to get some sponsors. If we can do it, pull it together, we will be back on national PBS and with our shorts. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Who knows?
Phil, do you have any questions for Jim?
So Jim, I know as a person who's not musically inclined to the challenge, which I enjoy challenges from yourself, to set the stage for your kids and sing as many songs as you can as it relates to the messages that you're saying. I mean, that is powerful. And certainly if I can't carry a tune, that's something that I think all parents need to hear. And if the folks that you're targeting and or you're servicing are the students at schools, the parents don't hear these valuable lessons that you have. And so I'm wondering if there can be a movement where the kids are singing to the parent messages that need to be shared.
Oh, brilliant.
Hey, it's funny you say that, Phil, because this is a true story that I didn't think I would ever get a phone call about, but I did. We used to do, well, not used to, we still do, buckle up. So you've gone too quick if you didn't hear the click. So before you go anywhere, that car starts moving, you got to put your seatbelt on. So you've gone too quick if you didn't hear the click. Everybody click, 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 car can start rolling. We get a mom, call our office, and yell at my people that answered the phone about, how dare you brainwash my children and not let my car, I don't wear a seatbelt, blah, 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 going off on us. Like, wow, lady, we're just trying to save your kid's life. We're not trying to ask you for money or something, for goodness sake. We just went into the school and taught this. But she didn't wear a seatbelt, so she was mad. About 8 months later, we get a phone call. She's crying her eyes out, apologizing to the person. The person no longer was there, was a volunteer. But she called to say, I'm sorry, because what had happened was she flipped her SUV. And a state police officer said, you'd be dead right now if you didn't have your seatbelt on. And guess why she had her seatbelt on?
Go too quick.
So we're saving older people even, for goodness sakes. Yeah. But it is funny because the kid's like, "Mommy, you can't go this way." I'm like, you know.
But and again, with all of these rhymes and things that you have, and like you said, you've done countless thousands of shows at schools and just taught, I don't even know, I wouldn't want to put a number on how many kiddos you've gotten in for.
Over 3 million people.
3 million.
Our reach has been over 3 million. Yeah, 30 years, TV, television. I mean, we've done live musicals way back in the days with Disney for 500,000 people over the course of a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday event, you know? So, yeah.
A few.
We're the unsung hero, basically. Like I said, only one.
That's unbelievable. And where I was going with that, like, so first, congratulations. You've been
Thanks.
in front of over 3 million kiddos,
Yep.
which in itself is an achievement, but talk about the potential for impact, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's just, oh, and hello, Janet G. Again, I've had great support. Janet has her show Carry On. We've got Christine Bernat, EFT Transformation for Stress Management and Mindfulness, pardon me.
I need her.
Yeah, she's the grandma. So we've got some great folks. But where I want to come back to it, is your life just like one big song, Jim, where everything you sing like rhymes and you sing, or because it's in your head that way?
Actually, my wife says I'm a big child and I need to grow up. So when she leaves me for somebody mature, you know, I need I'll be out on my own. Yeah, I get a lot of rolled eyes and stuff, but you know, it's people just, I'll go into a room and everybody will know me by the end of the day, and not in a bad way, but in just, you know, just knowing, you know, laughing, humorous. My family, my extended family beyond any family function. I got people in Jersey, I got people in New York, I got people in PA, you know, Connecticut. So when we get together in Connecticut, all the families get together, you know, and they'll say, is Uncle Jimmy coming? If Uncle Jimmy's not coming, they usually don't go to the functions. So when they want everybody there, whoever's putting on the party says to me, you have to be here, okay? So yeah, I just love life, man. Life is too short. You know, as a survivor of abuse and neglect, people always ask why is Little Iguana here? Well, Little Iguana's here because I had the worst life, not the worst life, okay? Because I can't say that because I know a lot of people that had worse lives. But I had a terrible life growing up. Though I'm a ginormous person and I played sports and I excelled everything on the field, on the diamond, on the courts, you know, on the gridiron. You know, I can run you into the ground, but I couldn't go into a store and buy something because I had no self-worth and no self-esteem. You know, as a Catholic altar boy, you know, you go through something and you go try to tell somebody, and you know, you can't go tell your friends because back then, I mean, you were labeled, man. Oh, you liked it. I mean, that torment would have been worse than what physically happened. Okay. So when I had my children, I said there would be no one in this world that will hurt my kids the way I got hurt. And I looked at all the programs, and you know what I found out? There was no programs out there that would help my children. So I said, I got to do something. And, you know, by the grace of God, you know, he directed me, and it evolved, and it keeps evolving, and you know, movie stars and actors and professional athletes and presidents and you name it. We've met them all. We've done it all. And it means nothing to us. What means something to us is when you're in Hannaford Supermarket. That's a supermarket that we have up here. It's a big chain. Okay.
Yeah.
Went into it. Here's a little man. Here's a man comes up to me. A man comes up to me and goes, Jimmy T, how are you? Hey, how you been, man? Oh, great to see you. I have no idea who this person is. Last time I saw him, he was 8 years old, and he was at a show that we had, right? So he's like, honey, come here. So his wife comes around the corner. He's got a baby. He hands me the baby. This is my son. You know, now I'm thinking, oh, my God, what happened, right? So his wife's like coming over, and he goes, this is Jimmy T. This is the guy I was telling you about. I guess what happened was we were talking about the harm alarm and things that aren't right, and you need to talk to somebody that you can trust. And this boy and this girl, his sister, were being abused sexually by the people that the boyfriend of the wife. He would let her go out. Oh, go out, do it, have fun. I'll take care of the kids. I always tell women, when I speak at women's things, if a guy comes into your life and just adores your children and wants to help, it's a red flag. You first got to understand who they are first before you allow them to be with them by themselves and stuff like that, because you don't know who these people are. And it could even be months. People groom people for months and months and months before they do anything anyways. So what you need to do is you just need to get out there. You need to have little Iguana in your life. You need to be able to have fun, enjoy life. Don't scare them. Just prepare them, right? Don't be scared. Just be prepared. That's how we go. That's how we roll here at Little Iguana. That's our new tagline. Don't be scared. Just be prepared. Woo!
Well, I think that is actually, I was going to ask you for a summation, but I really think that's the key message there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you've got don't scare them, prepare them. And
Yeah.
how better to prepare them and do things other than with Little Iguana?
Sure.
And Jim Tomaszewski, who's been at it for 30 years. Congratulations. That's a huge milestone.
Thank you.
You've reached more than 3 million kiddos. That's absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Our TV series was in 60 million homes in 7 countries. So it was something. I'd like to go back to it and do animation, and I really would like to get back to that world. And everybody check us out online at littleiguanausa.org, but go to It's Easy to Be Kind. It's easytobekind.org. All one word. You know why? Because we have a day coming up called It's Easy to Be Kind. And before, what I would love for everybody to instill in their families, like my Baba Gigi instilled in me, is before you basically treat others the way you want to be treated. So before you guys say anything about someone else or do something to someone else, ask yourself, would I want this done to me? If the answer is no, don't do it. And don't give a reason, like try to justify that reason, okay? Because I'm done with that baloney too. The malarkey about, so-and-so, the 5-year-old dressed provocatively, it's like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, just stop, okay? Don't justify it. So before you do something to somebody, you ask yourself, would I want this done to me or said about me? Don't do it, because you know what it makes you. And I can't use that campaign because that just won't work on a t-shirt. But don't do it. Always ask, stop yourself, period. And that's what we need to teach our children from day one, as soon as we can, even if they can't speak to you. That's not kind. Don't let him hit or her hit you in anger and say, oh, ha, ha, ha. Sit him down and explain to him, look, would you want me to do that to you? Go through that very easily, but it's easy to be kind. It's in 32 countries, 3 Major League Baseball stadiums this year. And on August 11th, we kick it off, and it's really cool, man. It's really cool. It's a way to celebrate 30 years of in the mud, in the trenches.
And kudos to you for taking all the trauma and hurt that you personally suffered through and turning it into really your lifetime's passion and purpose, and helping so many millions and millions of other folks. Jim, thank you for being on our show today. And on behalf of Phil and I, we are really excited to be part of this, queuing up Lil Iguana's big 30th anniversary celebration with a powerful message of it's easy to be kind, and also equally importantly with messages all about how to keep kiddos safe and do things like don't scare them, prepare them, and all kinds of stuff.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. Thanks to everybody for listening to me ramble on too. I appreciate you.
It's fascinating. We loved it. And thank you to all of our lovely audience. We have so much great participation there. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next Monday.